Perfect. Welcome to this new video. In this one, I will show you the AMSI patching malware technique, okay? You can find this technique in our malware development database, okay? From our website. We have this malware development database where for each technique we have details, description, dependencies, mitigations, steps, of course the code and the Rust code, and finally a little proof of concept and various PDFs, okay? So basically, let's start it. Perfect. So for this code, we are basically doing simple things, okay? If we start with the main function, first of all, we are getting the process ID from the PowerShell, okay? The process number, the process identifier of PowerShell.exe, okay? Basically, when we have find the PowerShell, we declare the victim, the DLL victim name. In this case, AMSI.dll will be the DLL that we are attacking in this case, okay? And then we have the function names. These are the functions from this DLL that we will patch, okay? We will patch the AmsiScanBuffer, AmsiScanString, and AmsiOpenSession. Perfect. When this is done, we just create a for loop where we iterate through each of these functions, okay? So, and for each function, we find the memory address from the remote process, okay, from the PowerShell, which address have these functions inside the PowerShell, not inside our local process. Inside PowerShell, we find this remote address, we print it, and basically we call the patch remote function that basically receives the process ID of the PowerShell and the remote function address, okay? And now if we check for this function, let me find it. Here we have this function that it's patch remote function. This receives the process ID and the memory address of this function that we want to patch, okay? Basically, we open the process, we open the PowerShell process. Important, you need to have enough permissions. For example, if you have not executed the PowerShell as administrator, you will not need admin rights. But if you are trying to open a process that it's executed under administrator context, you need to execute this code as an administrator also, okay? Perfect. So when this is done, we make sure that we have opened correctly the victim process. When this is done, we declare this simple instructions, okay? There are some simple assembler instructions, okay? Basically, we have a move ex with this. This code basically means invalid argument, and then we just return. We can do directly the return, but in this case, we are using this part from here to show to the user or the programs that call this function invalid argument. And then we return. So when any of these functions from here are executed by the PowerShell process, they will throw an error, an invalid argument error, and then return automatically. So the function will be not executed because of this return. Okay, you can do directly the return, but the PowerShell can be a little bit suspicious because they are not seeing any error, but the function are not executing. So can be a little bit strange. In this case, using the invalid argument, we are throwing an invalid argument error, and then returning automatically. So the PowerShell process, it's not suspicious like in the previous one, okay? So basically, when we have this, we just need to change the memory protection. We make this memory address for the function. For example, the open AMSI session page execute read write, to make sure that we can write inside this memory space. When we have this done, we write the patch, we write our instructions inside the remote function address. Okay, then we restore the original protection So we make sure, I think that it's just read, usually it's just read permissions and basically update the instruction cache, and we just close the handle and then return a true. So that's it. It's so simple. And the result is the following one. When the PowerShell process call any of these three functions, to scan a buffer, to scan a string, or to open an AMSI session, the function behind mc.dll that it's called will return automatically without doing anything. So these functions are used to scan if your string or your buffer are malicious, and will return anything, and will return an error, so will be not blocked your shellcode or your malware will be not blocked. Okay, perfect. So let's see the proof of concept. So perfect. Here we have the code. Okay, let's execute a PowerShell, and let's search for this PowerShell with the debugger x64 debugger, and let's try to find this AMSI.dll, and inside the AMSI, let's search for, let's search for scan buffer, for example. And this is the typical instructions from the scan buffer function, okay? We have move, push, a lot of instructions that are not important. But what happens when we just execute this code? We execute it, it's a little bit slow, let's wait a second, perfect. We execute it and all works perfectly, and if we check another time this memory address, we go to symbols and we check another time, we have our patch. We have this return invalid argument and the return. So when PowerShell process tries to analyze your buffer that you are entering here, the PowerShell will return automatically, the function will return automatically a return, and will be never caught your malware, okay? Because you have patched the buffer scan function. Perfect. So that's all, okay? That's all for this AMSI patching technique. This is just one of many that we have in our technique database, okay? We have a lot of them, and each week I add a new one from here. So just try this code. You can find this code in my Medium post for free. You can find this code in GitHub from other profiles and all of this. Try it, comment if you like it, if you like this type of video, and just let's see you in the next one.